Okay, this is, I'll write it right here, video number 2 for section 4.2. So we left off on number 8, and on number 8 we're writing the equation of the line, and we want our final answer to be in slope-intercept form. So we're going to start with point slope, and then we're going to do some algebra to get it in slope-intercept form. So just a little review. Point slope is going to start like this, and slope intercept, remember that's y equals mx plus b. So the algebra we're going to have to do is to get y all alone by itself on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other. So let's start with writing the equation in point slope form, which is just like what we did in number 7. So pick a point. Again, I'm going to pick this point, 1, 2, because it has no negatives. So I'm going to say my point is 1, 2. And then my slope, remember we have the option of using the slope formula, or we also have the option of counting on our graph our rise over run. So I think I'm going to do the rise over run. Now remember to check the scale, because Big Ideas likes to change the scale. This scale is going by ones, 1, 2, and this scale is also going by ones. So I'm going to say, first of all, when I look at this line, I'm going to remind myself this is a negative slope. And when I go from this point to this point, I'm going down and to the right. So remember, whenever you go down or to the left, you're going to have a negative number. So I'm going to rise down 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put my negative with my 3 there. Down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3 to the right. So my rise is negative. I rose down 3 and I went to the right 3. So that simplifies to -1. So that's my slope and that's my point. Now let's put that into point slope form. So I'm going to rewrite, correctly. I'm going to rewrite point slope form again. I recommend you do the same thing. And remember, I'm substituting in a value here, here, and here. This x and y will stay x and y. So y minus is a copy job. y1 is the y of my point up here. Remember, y's go together. So y comes first. Equals, that's a copy job. I'm going to substitute in my slope. My slope is -1. Parenthesis, x, copy it. Minus sign, copy it. My x from my point is 1. So this x and y come from your point, and that's your slope. Point slope form. Okay, so this is an equation for that line, but it is in point slope form. We said when we write the equation of the line for number 8, we want it in slope intercept form. So we want it to look like this. Y all by itself, everything else on the other. Remember, it's not going to be a number, it's going to be an equation. So I like to say over here you're going to have stuff. So when I see this, I notice I have distributive property. Remember, you always want to do that first. So left side of the equal sign is going to be y minus 2 equals -1 times x is -x. -1 times -1 is +1. Still doesn't look like this. I want y all by itself. So I want this -2 to hop over the equal sign. So I'm going to add the opposite to both sides. When you add it over here, line it up right underneath its like term. So -2 and +2 is 0. So on the left side of the equal sign, I'm left with y all by itself. -x, no like terms to combine that with. So bring that down. 1 and 2 are like terms, so combine those and I get +3. So this is the equation for, which one were we doing here? Number 8. For number 8 in point slope form. This is the equation in slope intercept form. And I want to point something out. See this 3? Remember, in slope intercept form, that's the y-intercept, and if you look at this graph, There's the y-intercept right at y equals 3. Okay, the last one on this page, not the last one in this video, is number 11, and I'd like you to pause the video and try that one yourself. So I'm not going to include all the work on this one, but I'll include a couple things here. Hopefully you tried that one by yourself. Oh, you guys can't see that. Let me slide this up. This is the answer in point slope. Oh, I think I forgot to mention we wanted this one in slope-intercept form. Sorry about that. And this is the answer in slope-intercept form. So if you did it in point slope, pause the video, do the algebra to get it in slope-intercept, and then check your work. But I want you to turn the page to 105. And we are in a second going to work this number 21 at the bottom of page 105. But first, I'm going to go over a similar problem with you. This is a little big. Let me zoom out here. So we'll do this as an example word problem. I think probably you can just watch this, but if you want to write maybe an abbreviated version of this and put it in your notes, you can pause the video and do that. So let's read this. So Mr. Houlihan just dropped a new song entitled Magical Math Mondays by, I don't know what that's supposed to be, by Chance the Rapper maybe, although Mr. Houlihan dropped it. So right now the song is getting 20 views per hour. This I think is going to be important, so I'm going to put some squigglies under there, draw some attention to it. On YouTube it is expected to stay at this rate. After 8 hours, the song has 200 views. Write an equation for this situation. So this is what I have to do. That's my first question mark. And then use it to predict how many views after 15 hours. So this is my second question mark. I was muting my computer over there. It's beeping at me. All right, so let's think about this. First thing I want you to notice is this is a rate. This is something happening per something else. That is a rate. And when we learned about slope back in some section in chapter 3, in the definition they referred to it as a rate. And I remember saying, hey, that's a good way to think about slope. It is a rate. And if you think about this, this is 20 views per hour. So remember, slope is your rise over run. So it is a rate. Views per hour is like your rise over run. So I'm going to show this in a graph because I think that's sometimes the best way to think about this. Remember, when you have time in your problem, zoom this in a little, time is always the independent variable because nothing depends on time. So I'm going to put hours on my x-axis, and I'm going to put views on my y-axis. So 20 is my slope, because for every 1 hour there are 20 views. Okay, so I'm doing a problem where I'm comparing hours to views. So let's keep reading. It says right now the song is getting 20 views per hour. So the reason I wanted to identify that as a slope is I have to write an equation for this line. And what do I need to write an equation for a line? I need a point